This demo will look at WilloWare's MO Generator modules for Dynamics GP manufacturing. WilloWare's MO Generator for Microsoft Dynamics GP is a suite that contains two groups of utilities which can be licensed separately. The first set is the core utilities. Create MOs. This utility can create a complete MO provided with, at a minimum, an item number and quantity. Create child MOs. This utility explores the pick list for a given MO and creates MOs for all lower level subassemblies. Reschedule MOs. This utility can reschedule an MO to a new date, and with an optional setting it can also rebuild the pick list. And the second component is MO receipt integration. This utility creates and posts MO receipts. While all of the utilities can be run manually, the real benefit of the MO Generator suite comes when it runs unattended to automatically create MOs or reschedule MOs or post MO receipts as part of an integration between Dynamics GP manufacturing and an external system. For example, planning or forecasting software can use MO Generator to create manufacturing orders, or a shop floor control system can use MO Generator to create and post MO receipts. MO Generator can enable a new level of efficiency and integration by providing the tools needed to connect GP manufacturing to the external world. This demo will provide an overview of each utility and a brief look into setting up the integrations. This utility can use input from an Excel spreadsheet or a SQL staging table to create manufacturing orders. Create MOs creates an MO as if it was created by using the manufacturing order entry window. The utility creates the MO, builds the pick list, and schedules the MO. Scheduling populates CRP tables and assigns required dates to the pick list. If the MO status option is set to released, and manufacturing setup specifies that inventory should be allocated when the MO is released, MO Gen will also create a component transaction entry allocation transaction to allocate the components on the pick list. When the Create Child MOs option is marked, MO Gen will create child MOs for each of the non-phantom subassemblies on the pick list of the parent item. The Create Child MOs process continues down each level of the assembly until there are no more make components. This utility can also create a MOP-SOP link between a manufacturing order and a sales line. The Create MOs utility can run using either an Excel spreadsheet or data imported into an MO Generator SQL table. For this example, we're going to add records to the SQL table. How does the data get here? One example might be that a forecasting system has a routine to add forecasted MOs to the integration table once the forecast is accepted. Or maybe a web-based order entry system populates this table as orders are received. The integration is rather straightforward and requires just a few fields. Okay, so we've added some data now. Let's take a look at it. Prefixing the MO number tells MO Gen to create the MO with the next MO number from manufacturing. If desired, a specific MO number can be provided, such as MO 00123. You might do this so that the MO number can be tied to another system. Item number, quantity, and due date are required. The remaining fields are optional. A scheduling preference can be used to assign draw from and post to sites to the MO. Otherwise, default scheduling preference is used. The primary routing is used by default, but an alternate routing name can be provided. The manufacturing BOM is used by default, but a different BOM type BOM name can be used, such as to create an MO for a configured BOM. We've added the description MO Gen create MO so we can track this after the MO is created. Before we run the integration, there are a couple of setup options to consider. MO status. We have the MO status set to open. If we set MO status to released, the new MOs will be created in a released status, and depending on setup in the manufacturing module, MO Gen will create a manufacturing component transaction entry allocation transaction. Create child MOs. We're going to leave this unmarked because we will look at the Create Child MOs function by itself later in this demo. However, If we marked this box, MO Gen would create the top level MO and then MOs for all subassemblies in its bill of materials. The middle section of the window is the import utility area. We can have the import run once or run continuously. When run continuously, MO Gen periodically checks the integration table and processes any new records. In this case, we'll run it once. In the import type, we select Table, Create MOs. So let's run the import. You'll see some activity in the status message box in the left-hand corner of the window. Let's pull that MO up in MO entry. You can see here the description we provided in the import file. Next up is the Create Child MOs utility. This utility creates child MOs for each non-phantom subassembly within the pick list of a parent MO. The utility can be run directly by providing parent MOs in an import, and it can also run automatically when manufacturing orders are created from the MO entry window or from a sales transaction. Create Child MOs can run automatically when an MO is created from sales transaction entry. In this case, the parent item is Make to Order, manual or silent, or it is a configured item. When the MO is created from sales transaction entry, the Create Child's MO utility will catch that parent MO and create child MOs for the Make to Stock subassemblies. As an example of the Create Child MOs process, take an MO for 100 XLG. The bill of materials for 100 XLG is shown here. In this case, it would create an MO for BA100G, CBA100, and HA100G. If, however, BA100G is a phantom, the utility would create MOs for HA100G and CBA100. In addition to creating the child MOs, proper scheduling requires that the top level be scheduled first so GP manufacturing can calculate the correct start date and start quantity. The child MOs are scheduled so that their end date is on or before the start date of the parent MO. Also, the child MO end quantity is set to the start quantity of the parent MO. This ensures that a shrink factor on the parent flows down to the child MOs. And the post to site of the child is set to the draw from site of the parent. The child due dates will be adjusted automatically to consider the lead time offset. As shown here, each component has a lead time of 1 day, so each component finishes the day before it is needed. We'll run Create Child MOs using the SQL table integration, but like the Create MOs utility, you could also provide this utility with data from an Excel spreadsheet. This integration and the spreadsheet are very simple, requiring only the MO number. Since we just created an MO for a top-level item, we'll use that as the input. In the Import section of the window, we'll change Import Type to Table Create Child MOs, then run the utility. You can watch the process as it creates MOs and works its way down through the bill of materials. Let's take a look at the MOs it created. It uses the top-level MO number and repeats it for each child, adding a suffix 0001, 0002, 0003, and so on, for each child assembly. The children are also scheduled so their due date is before the start date of the MO above it. MO Generator keeps track of the parent MO child MO relationship, and if you reschedule the parent, it automatically adjusts the children. Watch for the progress window as I reschedule this MO. Now, if we scroll through the children, we can see they all have been rescheduled. Lastly, deleting the parent MO asks if you want to delete the linked children. There are several products that integrate into GP that create what we call an MO header record. It is just a record in the work order master table, but there may not be a pick list and the MO hasn't been scheduled. This requires a user to open the MO entry window and click the Schedule button on each of these new MOs. MO Scheduler can take care of those MOs automatically. It can reschedule existing MOs. You could, for example, export a list of MOs out to Excel, change the due dates, then pull that list into MO Scheduler and reschedule all of the MOs. Lastly, it can rebuild the pick list, recreating it from the current BOM. This can occur as part of the scheduling process, or the due date can be left alone and MO Scheduler will simply build or rebuild the pick list. There are a couple of setup options of interest for MO Scheduler. Here is the Rebuild Pick List during Reschedule option. You might want to enable this option if an MO is put into the system a long time before it will be built, and perhaps even before the bill of materials is complete. As you make changes or updates to the BOM, you may want to run the MOs through this utility so that the pick list represents the current list of materials. This ensures that MRP can start planning those new items. Second, and we already saw this, is to reschedule child MOs when rescheduling the parent. This is another straightforward integration. The only fields you need to provide to the utility are MO number and due date. Note that if you don't want to change the date and just want to rebuild the pick list, you can use the MO's current due date. The utility will reschedule it, but the date will not change. Note that the new date is May 2, 2018. Okay, so let's run the MO Scheduler utility. And when we look at the MOs, the new due date has been set. Now let's go back to SQL and we'll rerun the utility again. This time we're going to use the exact same record, so I'll just change the status back to 0 so the MO Gen will pick it up again. In BOM maintenance, we'll change the quantity of a component. We'll save that change, then go back to the MO Gen window and run the utility again. Now let's go take a look at the pick list. Here's the MO, and we'll pull up the pick list, and the quantity of this component has changed to match the updated BOM. We just covered the three MO Gen core utilities: create manufacturing orders, create child MOs, and reschedule MOs. These three utilities are licensed together. The last utility, MO receipt integration, is licensed separately. MO receipt integration, or MORI, can perform a one-step or two-step integration. In the two-step integration, the MO already exists in GP. Perhaps you created it manually or from an MRP suggestion. The MO is released in GP and sent to the shop floor. Some sort of system outside of GP records production and sends that information back to MORI. MORI creates and posts an MO receipt inside GP manufacturing. In the one-step integration, the MO is not created first. Production occurs outside GP, and as the finished good is completed, the external system tells MORI how many were produced, and MORI creates an MO for the quantity produced, posts an MO receipt for it, and closes the MO. MORI can handle serial number and lot numbers in both the raw materials and finished goods. With the raw materials, it can backflush, or be provided with specific materials to consume. Lastly, actual labor time and actual machine time can also be recorded through a MORI integration. MORI can only be run using an integration to its SQL tables. Our focus was on keeping the integration as simple as possible, so most of the integration tables only need to be populated if you need that particular feature. For example, by default, MORI will backflush the bill of materials, so you do not need to provide it with raw materials. However, if you need it to consume specific lots or specific quantities, you can populate the pick list table. Aside from the MO header table we'll look at here, there are 4 other integration tables you may need to use. To keep things simple, we'll run an example performing a one-step integration. As a reminder, the one-step integration will create an MO and then create and post an MO receipt. This utility runs in a manner similar to the others. Select Import Type MO Receipt Integration. The timer functionality applies to any of the utilities. They can all run for a certain amount of time, say 10 hours, and then stop. It can also close GP when it is finished. These features can be used with a GP login macro and Windows Scheduler to have GP automatically launch at, say, 7 a.m., run for 12 hours, and then log out of GP. This ensures all GP clients are disconnected from the server at night when maintenance is running. Click the Import button to start the utility. Now, as this runs, you'll see a couple of posting dialogues windows open. These appear as GP Manufacturing is posting the raw materials and then posting the finished goods. Now that it is finished, let's take a look at what it did. Here you can see that Maury created the MO, the raw material posting, the finished good posting, and it closed the MO. If you have, or would like to have, a more automated shop floor, MO Receipt Integration is the tool that can help you achieve that. From a simple one-step production integration to a more complex recording of actual material consumption, MO Gen Receipt Integration can connect your shop floor to Dynamics GP Manufacturing. To learn more about this product or other WilloWare products, please contact your Microsoft GP partner or www.willowware.com or sales@willowware.com.